According to a study published in the Journal of Dairy Science and Technology in 2008, cheese is considered one of the most nutrient-dense foods ever created by humans. Not only does it provide protein, calcium, and vitamin D, but many types of cheese also contain bioactive peptides that can lower blood pressure, CLA fatty acids that help fight inflammation, and minerals that strengthen bones, prevent loose teeth, and support clear memory. However, not all cheeses are equally beneficial. Some cheeses contain excessive amounts of salt, unhealthy fats, and additives that can silently harm the heart, brain, and digestive system if consumed regularly, especially after age 60. Choosing the right type of cheese is not just about taste, but about choosing health for yourself. In today's video, you will learn about 3 types of cheese to eat weekly to protect your bones, heart, and brain, and 3 types to avoid because they may quietly damage your health after 60. All information is based on published scientific research. We have provided full sources in the description for your easy reference. Before we start, tell us, do you eat cheese weekly? Share your answer in the comments below, because sometimes just switching to the right cheese can help you feel lighter, stronger, and sleep better every day. We will read and respond to each comment, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more similar videos. Now, let's explore the little-known facts about cheese and life after 60. Part 1. 3 types of cheese to eat after age 60. So, what cheeses are not only delicious, but truly good for your heart, bones, and memory? Let's start with 3 choices recommended by nutrition experts for people over 60. Number 1. Aged Gouda. At the top of the list of cheeses to eat after age 60 is aged Gouda, a name that sounds unfamiliar, but is actually quite well known. It has a dark yellow color, a slightly crunchy texture, and a rich aroma. However, what makes it beloved by nutrition experts is not just its taste, but also its ability to help lower blood pressure, strengthen bones, and keep the mind sharp every day. An interesting fact about aged Gouda that few people know is that this cheese is not only delicious, but also acts like a small laboratory, silently working for months. As it slowly matures, beneficial bacteria like Lactobacillus helveticus start breaking down milk proteins into smaller fragments called bioactive peptides. Among these, 2 notable compounds are VPP and IPP. You can think of them as keys gently unlocking blood vessels constricted by aging stress. When the blood vessels dilate, blood flows more easily, the heart doesn't have to work too hard, and blood pressure naturally eases, smoothly, without immediate medication. At the same time, each slice of cheese accumulates a large amount of vitamin K2 in the MK7 form, a nutrient that directs calcium in the body. Instead of calcium getting lost and attaching to blood vessel walls causing blockages, K2 guides calcium to where it belongs, in bones and teeth. Thanks to this, just 1 slice of cheese a day can help keep your cardiovascular system clear and your skeleton strong over time. Because of these special effects, many research groups have studied aged Gouda closely. For example, in Norway, a team monitored 94 older adults for 8 weeks. They divided them into 2 groups. One ate cheese containing VPP and IPP peptides, and the other did not. The results were quite remarkable. Systolic blood pressure significantly decreased in the cheese group, especially among those who had never taken blood pressure medication before. The changes were gradual but steady, just like how this cheese is made, patiently and naturally. What about bones and joints? A 2021 analysis by Symes et al. Compared the effectiveness of vitamin K2 from aged Gouda to supplements. The conclusion was clear. Natural K2 from cheese is much better absorbed and can reduce fracture risk by up to 81% in people over 65. Moreover, a 2022 monograph by Eva Maria Dusterhoeft and Tom Huppertz found that Gouda's natural fermentation produces not only K2 but also CLA and sphingolipids, compounds that reduce chronic inflammation, protect nerve cell membranes, and support memory. This explains why many people eating aged Gouda report better sleep, a lighter mind, and less forgetfulness. Beyond the heart and bones, aged Gouda also helps reduce chronic inflammation, a root cause of many chronic diseases like diabetes, osteoarthritis, and dementia. Natural fats in aged Gouda, such as CLA, regulate visceral fat, support weight control, and boost immunity. Additionally, the easily absorbed protein helps maintain muscle mass, a critical factor for older adults to walk steadily, fall less, and keep independence in daily activities. So how to eat aged Gouda for best effect? Very simple. Just 20 to 30 grams per day, equivalent to 1 to 2 small slices. You can eat it with whole grain bread, steamed vegetables, or a few slices of low-sugar pears or apples. It's important not to cook at high heat, as heat destroys the natural enzymes and vitamin K2 in the cheese. It's best eaten cold, at breakfast, or as a snack. And if you're taking blood pressure or osteoporosis medication, consult your doctor for safe coordination. But trust me, just choosing the right type, a slice of aged Gouda daily is not only tasty, but also a way to live healthy, long, and strong. Number 2. Parmesan. If aged Gouda is the cheese of warmth, Parmesan symbolizes quiet resilience. Each small slice not only offers a rich flavor, but also helps strengthen bones, improve memory, and enhance sleep. Things more precious than gold as we age. In a master's thesis by Megan Huegley-Aubrey at the University of South Dakota in 2020, the author pointed out that this cheese, after months of careful aging, contains almost no lactose. This means that older adults who once experienced bloating or diarrhea from dairy can still enjoy Parmesan without discomfort. And it doesn't stop at easy digestion. Thanks to slow fermentation, the milk proteins in Parmesan are broken down into small but valuable compounds. Among them is tyrosine, an amino acid that helps the body produce dopamine, a neurotransmitter that keeps the mind alert, mood stable, and sleep deeper. It's no coincidence that many over 60s feel mentally lighter after regularly eating Parmesan. Inside each piece, time and science come together to create a soft medicine for memory and emotional health in old age. Parmesan starts with simple ingredients: fresh milk, rennet, a pinch of salt, and beneficial bacteria. The magic happens when it's aged quietly for a year or more in cool cellars. During this time, bacteria like Lactobacillus helveticus and plantarum work silently, breaking down large milk proteins into small chains called bioactive peptides. These peptides act like gatekeepers in the body, combating free radicals, protecting cells from premature aging, regulating blood fats, and naturally supporting the immune system. The enzymes produced during aging also nearly completely break down milk sugars, making Parmesan easily digestible, even for those with lactose intolerance. If you've noticed tiny white crystals in aged Parmesan, don't worry, they are not salt, but tyrosine, a precious amino acid the body uses to make dopamine. Tyrosine is the foundation of memory, clarity, and a light-hearted mind. Some people think the slightly darker color of Parmesan indicates poor quality, but research by Aubrey in 2020 clarified that this is a natural change caused by galactose, a milk sugar, altering during long fermentation. These changes are harmless and make the cheese more stable and nutritious. Some experts even liken Parmesan to a symbol of solidity. In a 2014 medical paper from the British Journal of Anesthesia, Dr. J. Maloney used Parmesan slices as an analogy for the medical safety system: reliable, tight, and unbreakable. For consumers, Parmesan transcends being just food. It represents respect for tradition, transparency, and true quality. A 2015 study on generic geographical indications showed that Parmesan, especially Parmigiano Reggiano, is not just food, but a cultural icon. For older adults, biting into Parmesan aged over 12 months is like touching something genuine, clear, simple, yet deeply trustworthy. Knowing exactly where your food comes from and how it was made brings peace of mind and greater enjoyment to meals. Sometimes, it even helps us see that life still holds many subtle pleasures worth savoring. The best way to enjoy Parmesan is to grate it thinly or crumble it over cooked dishes. About 15 to 20 grams a day, roughly a tablespoon sprinkled over porridge, soup, steamed vegetables, or hot cereals, is enough. Avoid cooking it directly at high heat because that destroys precious enzymes. If possible, choose products labeled Parmigiano Reggiano, a protected designation in Europe ensuring purity. Like all nutrient-dense foods, eating a small, consistent amount daily is the most sustainable way to nourish your body. Number 3. Grass-fed raw cheddar. Grass-fed raw cheddar is a type of cheese that many people think they know, but actually haven't truly understood. When cheddar is made from milk of grass-fed cows and left unpasteurized, it becomes a true superfood, especially beneficial for those over 50. Cows that graze freely on green pastures produce milk with a completely different structure. This milk is not only easier to digest, but also helps reduce inflammation, protect the heart, and support bones and joints. Many studies have confirmed this. But above all, the difference lies in the way this cheese is made: slow, natural, and aligned with the healthy rhythm that older bodies need. When cows are grass-fed and active outdoors, their milk becomes particularly rich in CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, a beneficial fatty acid that the body cannot produce, but that can reduce inflammation, improve metabolism, and support fat burning. Bonney and colleagues began studying CLA in 1999, and it is still considered the silent guardian, naturally protecting cardiovascular health. Moreover, raw cheddar from grass-fed cows retains natural enzymes and probiotics. These tiny friends live in the cheese and greatly aid the large intestine, where digestion, nutrient absorption, and immunity are regulated. Especially, cheddar also contains vitamin K2 in the MK4 form, a rare nutrient that helps calcium be guided directly to the bones instead of accumulating in arteries. A 2009 study by Gast et al. Showed that supplementing K2 can reduce arterial calcification and improve bone density, critical issues for those at risk of osteoporosis and fractures in old age. A noteworthy report published in 2021 called the GB Dairy Report analyzed the nutritional content of cheese from grass-fed cows. It found that this cheese not only contains more CLA, but also has a higher omega-3 ratio, beneficial for the heart, and less omega-6, which can cause inflammation if in excess. This means that instead of raising bad cholesterol, as many fear, raw cheddar actually helps reduce systemic inflammation, the silent cause of many chronic diseases. Furthermore, analyses published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2009 showed that unpasteurized cheese contains natural digestive enzymes that help reduce bloating after eating, especially helpful for older adults. WH Foods, a trusted nutrition platform, also ranks raw cheddar among natural probiotic foods that support gut microbiota and improve nutrient absorption from daily meals. Beyond digestion and joint support, grass-fed cheddar offers an unexpected benefit: mood improvement. This cheese contains tryptophan, an amino acid that helps produce serotonin, a neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of happiness and calm. Thus, for seniors who often suffer from insomnia or prolonged fatigue, cheddar can be a bright spot in their diet. When consumed regularly in small amounts, it helps the body regulate itself from the inside out. Just 20 to 30 grams of raw cheddar daily is sufficient, It can be eaten with whole grain bread and fruits like apples or pears to add fiber. Avoid cooking or microwaving it, as high heat destroys beneficial enzymes. The best times to eat are morning or noon for better absorption. The most important thing is consistency, because health does not come from a miracle pill, but from small, regular, and suitable habits, like a piece of cheddar every morning. Though cheese can be a miracle for bones and memory, not all types are good for those over 60. Some cheeses that seem tasty and convenient can quietly harm the heart, blood pressure, and brain if eaten regularly. Next is Part 2. 3 types of cheese to avoid after age 60. Number 1. Processed cheese slices. Processed cheese slices are so common that we rarely question them. Each thin slice, neatly wrapped in plastic, usually sits in the fridge as a convenient breakfast item. But after age 60, this convenience can sometimes lead to sudden spikes in blood pressure, digestive disorders, and silent overload of the liver and kidneys. Many older adults still believe that all cheese is good, especially when advertised as rich in calcium, good for bones, convenient, and pre-sliced, looking modern and safe. However, the truth behind processed cheese slices is more complicated than it seems. This type of cheese is not naturally aged like cheddar or Gouda. Instead, it is a mixture of several cheap cheeses combined with vegetable oils that have been heat-treated at high temperatures, along with salt, colorants, emulsifiers, and preservatives. Some varieties contain only about half real cheese. The rest are additives that our bodies, especially in old age, do not need. So each time we think we are eating a nutritious slice of cheese, we are actually consuming accumulating additives and artificial fats. Thin slices may seem harmless, but regular consumption can have serious consequences. To keep processed cheese slices smooth, non-watery, and long-lasting, manufacturers add trans fats, artificial fats created during the hydrogenation of oils. It may sound harmless, but the WHO calls trans fat a silent killer due to its ability to raise bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, and accelerate arterial plaque buildup. In 2015, a research team led by Pimentel published in the Journal of Food Composition and Analysis analyzed processed cheese samples. The results were alarming. 100 grams of processed cheese could contain up to 1,300 milligrams of salt and over 1 gram of trans fat, nearly the maximum daily limit recommended by the World Health Organization for adults. For people over 60, these numbers aren't just statistics. They mean high blood pressure, overworked kidneys, and a weakening heart after every seemingly harmless light meal. You might think, cheese is heat-treated, so no bacteria can survive. But the reality is not so simple. According to a 2015 study by Lee et al. In the Journal of Dairy Science, the emulsification process, where ingredients are thoroughly mixed, makes proteins in processed cheese harder to digest. This may not affect young people, but older adults with weakened digestion often experience bloating and discomfort after eating. What about bacteria? Remember, if packaging isn't hygienic, food can become contaminated even after heat treatment. A 2009 report from Food Standards Australia-New Zealand warned that Listeria monocytogenes, a bacteria causing meningitis in older adults, was found in some processed cheese samples. Additionally, a 2002 study by Lindqvist's team showed that Staphylococcus aureus can multiply if storage conditions are improper, and even a small amount of its toxin can cause acute food poisoning. Therefore, if you've ever felt nauseous or had mild stomach pain after eating a sandwich with processed cheese, it might not be the bread's fault, but that seemingly harmless slice of cheese. Number 2. Cheese spreads in jars. Cheese spread, commonly called soft cheese in jars. It looks simple and convenient, but few realize the smooth creaminess hides many concerning issues. At first glance, cheese spread looks like a soft, easy-to-eat cheese, perfect for spreading on bread every morning. But if you think it's real cheese, you're being fooled by its smooth appearance. cheese spread is no longer natural cheese. During production, factories add all sorts of things: vegetable oils, thickeners, emulsifiers, salt, and synthetic flavorings. All these ingredients make the product smoother, longer-lasting, and tastier, but also mean the loss of beneficial probiotics, a significant reduction in natural protein and calcium from milk. In other words, every time you spread a thick layer on your bread, you're not only consuming less nutrition than you think, but also unintentionally putting substances into your body that force your digestive system and liver to work harder than necessary. The problem with cheese spread is not just its ingredients, but also what we can't see. A 1998 study by N. Bemra and colleagues published in Preventive Veterinary Medicine in France revealed a shocking figure. Up to 67% of raw milk samples were contaminated with Listeria monocytogenes. This bacterium survives well in cool environments, and if the product is not stored properly, it can grow even in refrigerators. Bemra estimated that the chance of consumers eating contaminated cheese spread could be as high as 65.3% if hygiene standards aren't met. For older adults, whose immune systems are weaker, this is a very real danger, ranging from mild infections to meningitis, intestinal inflammation, or systemic poisoning. Moreover, the hydrogenated vegetable oils used in production may contain trans fats, another hidden culprit that can damage the liver, increase bad cholesterol, and accelerate chronic inflammation in the body. In 1999, a team led by Lucy published research in Le Lait Journal analyzing the protein structure of cheese spread and found that protein molecules in this cheese were heavily altered compared to natural cheese. This makes it harder to digest, especially for older adults with weakened digestion, causing bloating, poor absorption, and long-term nutritional deficiencies. Furthermore, a more recent 2022 study by Fekadu and colleagues in Ethiopia found many processed cheese samples, including cheese spread, contaminated with dangerous bacteria such as E. coli, Salmonella, and Staphylococcus aureus. These bacteria cause diarrhea, stomach pain, and if ingested in large amounts, can lead to acute poisoning, bloodstream infections, or prolonged gut disorders. What's scary is that we cannot smell, taste, or sense anything unusual until the body sounds the alarm. Number 3. Blue cheese. Blue cheese. The name alone conjures images of a strong, pungent aroma that's hard to confuse with anything else. Some love it, others avoid it. But for those over 60, safety matters more than taste. Unlike common cheeses relying only on lactic acid bacteria, blue cheese is inoculated directly with mold into the cheese mass. Using Penicillium roqueforti mold sounds interesting, but carries risks. Especially if the milk used isn't fully pasteurized, dangerous bacteria like Listeria monocytogenes or Salmonella may survive and thrive. Young bodies might fight them off, but in older adults with weakened immune systems, each bite of blue cheese could become a silent threat. If storage and transport conditions are not strictly cold, mold and bacteria can continue multiplying. That's why, despite blue cheese's popularity in Europe, experts recommend cautious consumption for those over 60. Beyond bacterial risk, blue cheese contains high levels of tyramine. Tyramine is a bioactive compound formed during protein breakdown. A 2020 study by Elafify et al. In Foods Journal found that tyramine can constrict blood vessels, increase blood pressure, and cause headaches, especially in people taking monoamine oxidase inhibitors, MAOIs, commonly prescribed for depression in older adults. Additionally, a 2016 study by Fan et al., published in the Asian-Australasian Journal of Animal Sciences, found that blue cheese made from raw milk can contain E. coli and Staphylococcus aureus. These troublemakers cause diarrhea, stomach pain, nausea, and if uncontrolled, bloodstream infections. For older adults, even mild dehydration or poor digestion can cause dizziness, imbalance, and dangerous falls. One of the earliest warnings came from Bemra et al.'s 1998 study in Preventive Veterinary Medicine. They found that 67% of raw milk samples contained Listeria monocytogenes, a particularly dangerous bacterium for older adults. They further modeled actual contamination risks during consumption. Results showed that if an older person consumes around 50 cheese servings annually, the risk of listeriosis ranges from 1.04 times 10 to the -6 to 7.19 times 10 to the -5 in high-risk groups. These numbers may seem small, but across millions of consumers over 60, the risk becomes significant. In public health, even one severe listeria case triggers food safety alerts, especially for vulnerable groups like the elderly, immunocompromised, or those on long-term medication. Notes for older adults when using the 3 types of cheese: processed cheese slices, cheese spreads in jars, and blue cheese. If you are used to eating cheese every morning, you can start gradually replacing it with more natural types of cheese. Look for labels that say aged cheese or raw cheese, without vegetable oils, artificial colors, or preservatives. When shopping, just check the ingredient list. If it is long, complicated, and full of unfamiliar names, that is not a product you should bring home. Or if you see codes like E123, E452, or many stabilizers and colorants, you should reconsider. Just about 20 grams a day, paired with whole grain bread, salad, or a few apple slices, is delicious, nutritious enough, and does not harm your heart or digestive system. Instead, you can choose soft cheeses that are imported and pasteurized, or make fresh cheese yourself at home from natural yogurt. If you still like certain types such as blue cheese, cheese spreads in jars, or processed cheese slices, treat them as occasional treats. Only a small piece at a time, consume immediately while fresh, and no more than 3 days after opening. Just a small adjustment, from choosing to using, can help protect your gut health, cardiovascular system, and immunity, things that become increasingly important after age 60. Thank you for taking the time to listen and accompany me on the journey of caring for health after 60. Every daily food choice, no matter how small, contributes to protecting the heart, gut, and the inner peace within your body. I hope today's video has helped you better understand which types of cheese you should limit to live healthier every day. If you find it useful, don't hesitate to share it with your loved ones. Wishing you always enjoy good food, deep sleep, joyful living, and true peace alongside those you love.